Well, hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Growing Your Business Organically Through Facebook with MAPS coach Dina Watson. Please note this webinar is being recorded and you will automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me, Dina. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. And hey, everyone, I hope you're having an amazing day so far. We are going to have my trust is that you guys get something out of this. I trust you're going to get something from this webinar that you can take into your business. If you've never met me before, my name is Dina Watson. I am a mega agent. So to all of you, that basically just means we sell quite a bit of real estate. I do have 3 separate teams, 1 main team hub and 2 small expansion locations. We win platinum every year. So I'm saying all this to say I do most of this through social media. So I think it's important to know what's possible for you. For those of you who think that social media is this elusive thing that you never get any business from, I'm here to tell you living testimony. I've moved. My husband's in the military. I'm wife of a Green Beret soldier in the Army. We've moved over 3 times, and I have restarted this business over 3 times in the last 7 years, all through building a business social media heavy. So super possible here. Also MAPS Mastery Coach. I don't know if it matters, but I'm a boy mom and I love dogs. So there's a little bit about me. First, I want to say, you guys, everyone's going to come to this class, this webinar, with whatever their current understanding of social media is. And I'd like for you to take a minute to take some inventory of yourself and what do you believe to be true about what you can do on social media. And as always, if you want to use the chat box to answer the questions, to give me some feedback, I'd love to read them. And I can read some out loud so that we all have an idea of what people are putting in there, and you guys know you're not alone here. But I want you to take inventory of yourself. What do you currently know to be true for you on social media? If you're not going to put it in the chat box, write it down. Unless you're driving, of course. Don't do that. Now, the second question I'm going to ask you is, what do you wish were possible for you in the next 12 months? Now, notice I didn't say, what do you wish were possible? Because that is kind of an elusive, never-ending, over generic question. And I don't want you guys to think in that direction. So what do you wish were possible for you in the next 12 months? The last thing I want you to ask yourself, do you believe that you are the person who can do that? Those are the biggest 3 questions I think any one person has to either be on the understanding of or be able to overcome. Because if you don't have an idea or a target to hit, you're going to believe that nothing is working, right? You're going to think, this is not worth it. This is not working. This is not possible for me. And so you're going to start to create a story around how possible it is for you to build a business on social media. And the reason I told you that I've moved 3 times and that we do sell 100 some odd homes every year, most of that through social media relationships, is not to brag, because to be honest, I'm not doing what's possible for me. And yet I also know that what's possible for me and what's possible for you and what's possible for the person on the left or the right of you right now or in the room next to you are all going to be different things, because we all have different skill levels. Now, the last thing I'm saying all of this to say is that it is possible for any one of you on this call to build a massive business organically through social media. You see, the 50 homes that I sold the first year in my marketplace that I currently now have a team on Facebook were not paid. I didn't pay for ads. I didn't buy leads. I took the time to answer the questions I just asked of you and to set forth a business plan. You guys, I did a GPS. So if you're in Spring Masterminds right now, first of all, thank you for taking a 30-minute time out to hang out here with me. But you heard them this morning talking about how you needed a GPS. Now, GPS is not something that's in your car. It stands for goals, priorities, and strategies. And so basically what it is a 1-page business plan. And what I chose to do then, which I didn't know that that's what I was doing, but I said, how can I get from where I am, which was 0 because I didn't know anyone, to where my goals were, which to be honest, that year was about 25, and I ended up hitting 50. And I came up with a couple of different strategies because in the absence of that, you're shooting in the dark. So if you need help creating a GPS for Facebook, I have a copy of mine from a few years ago. I could even send you for inspiration. You just need to find me on Facebook, which is why this is in front of your screen. My name is Dina Watson, spelled D-E-A-N-A. Last name is Watson, spelled the way that you think. And if you were to look me up on Facebook, this is the profile you would see and what it would look like. If you want help, please reach out. I'd be happy to help you. It is possible for you. There are a few steps to being able to do this and have it be sustainable over a long period of time in an organic fashion. Now, I'm not here today to talk to you guys about how to buy leads, but what I am here to talk to you about is how to influence people and how to create a brand so strong that people know where to find you when they're looking. And so if you're interested in buying leads, sure, I know how to do that. This would not be the webinar where I'm going to teach you that though. I'm going to teach you how to actually do this to where over time you're not having to buy leads and things are continuing to come to you like they do for us. So step one is branding. Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you want people to know about you? I'm going to give you a couple of ideas behind branding, and we're going to go into some nuances here. But on a basic level, if you just strip away all the sexiness, branding is just the promotion of a particular product, right? Or a particular company by the means of advertising it. And in this example, for you, you are the product. You, not the fact that you sell real estate, okay? So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to call a timeout real quick. I want you to stop thinking about the fact that you sell real estate, because here's the thing. And if you don't listen to it, the Empire Builders podcast with Wendy Papasan and the wonderful woman from $5, they talked about this on their podcast the other day, is that over time, over your life and over your career, you're going to be known for different things. You guys, when I first started, I was an individual agent. I was Dina Watson, the individual agent. And then I became Dina Watson, the chick who has the team who's kind of struggling. And then I became Dina Watson, the chick who has a pretty decent team that people now want to come to. And what that's become now is a coach. I'm a coach for MAPS. I'm a coach for you guys, right? Like I'm a coach for my team, a coach at my market center. I'm on the ALC. And why I'm saying this is because if you only promote the fact that you are a realtor, what you're missing is the branding of yourself. I'm going to say that again. If on Facebook you're only promoting that you are in real estate, you're missing the promotion of yourself. And you are the product here, not your houses, not your closings, not your listings. It's you. You guys, I don't know what marketplace you're in, but where I sit right now in Clarksville, Tennessee, I think there's probably about 1,200 realtors in this MLS. And I say I think because I haven't been here in a very long time. This is where I'm from, but I don't currently work here. So I think there's 1,200 and something realtors. And we all have access to the same inventory. We all have access to the MLS, to the homes that are available on the MLS. So that is not what makes you distinctly different. So think about it in a different way. What is it that makes you distinctly different that you could start marketing so that people who like that come to you? That's all this is figuring out the equation of what am I actually promoting? And it's yourself. The marketing that a company does to promote its product is helping it brand. And I have a few examples here for you to think about. Kleenex or facial tissue. Do any of you, some people might, but most of you are not going to ask for a facial tissue. You're going to say, can I have a Kleenex, please? Kleenex is a brand. Same thing, Q-tip. People don't ask for cotton swabs. They ask for Q-tip or Coke or Pepsi. Those are all brands that have become synonymous to the people who use them with the product itself. So I'm saying this because my question to you is, for the people that you choose to have influence over, how do you become synonymous with real estate for them? Now, notice I didn't say for everyone, because that's not possible. No one person's ever going to be possible to have the influence with everyone. But here's the thing. Any one person, and this is not for real estate, this is just products in general. Any one person on a quick about 20-second recall can normally recall 3 separate things for every question asked about a specific brand or product. For example, the first 3 places that you think of when you think of fast food: Who are the top 3 mortgage people in your community? Who do you think of when you think of influence and leadership? Who do you think of when you think of a community influencer in your own backyard? Like everything that someone is asked to recall, on average, the average person only has the ability to quickly recall up to 3. So our goal in this class is not how do I get you to number 1? I just need to get you into the 3rd spot. So please understand, you're never going to be everyone's cup of tea. But if 75% of people know Kleenex or Q-tip, we're not worried about the other 25%. They're not our people. We're worried about the average person that we can get into the top 3 with. So here are some components of a great brand. And I'm telling you this because you are a brand. Your real estate business is a brand, even if you're a solo agent who started yesterday. We're not selling real estate here, you guys. We're selling ourselves in a morally non-corrupt way, right? Like it sounds bad to say it like that, but we are selling ourselves. We're selling our knowledge, our spin on the world, our skill set, not a home. You're not selling a house, you're selling yourself. Your branding should be about selling yourself, not a house. Components of every great brand, there are approximately 6, right? So the first one is have an identifiable logo. Now, why am I going to go into this? You guys, the world of advertising is a really busy place. Right now in front of me, I can see an advertisement for Starbucks. I can see an advertisement for Fuji. I see a Dyson on the floor. I see Tiffany's, like jewelry. I see all kinds of stuff in the room I'm sitting in. And if the average person sees, I'm not even joking, over 10,000 ads a week on average, the goal of having the logo and the colors and all of this is for us to be able to become recognizable to people when they see us. I don't know about you, but for me, I know I've had a lot of people say, oh my gosh, like, thank you for calling. I was trying to remember your name, and honestly, I couldn't remember. And now that we're branding ourselves, people are coming back to us, and when we talk to them, they recognize our marketing. They don't remember my name. Sometimes, oftentimes they don't. They don't remember the name of the agent, but they remember the branding and the advertising because it sticks in their head and it looks familiar. So they're going to have a logo. You're going to have identifiable colors. The next thing you're going to have is a clear brand promise. What is it that you're promising to the consumer or the world when they interact with you? Now, what I don't want you to write down is I promise to sell their home for the most amount of money with the least amount of hassle. Yeah, I'm sure. You can't promise that because you can't know. Did you price it the correct way? Could you have gotten $1,000 more? Did you know that there was another way to get less hassle? You don't know. You can't promise that. But you can promise integrity. You can promise honesty. You can promise your values. You cannot promise a condition you have no absolute control over. Okay. So what do you promise people? The next thing that they have is a defined target market. Who are your folks? Now I'm going to tell a quick story because it's important. So just hang with me. I live in a community that's mostly military affiliated, right? So a lot of people are either there because they're currently in the military, or they were and they retired there, or they were born there to a military service member and that's just where they've lived. So for a long time, I thought my branding and my target market was the military. But what I started to realize is that it wasn't the military itself, right? Like it wasn't just anyone. My husband's a Green Beret soldier. He's in Special Forces. So for us, my target market has become the special operations community. Now I'm going to take it one step further, and I want you to do the same for yours. I'm not just working to market to the special ops communities, you guys. I'm wanting to market to their spouses. Why? Because their spouses are the ones, most of the time, that are looking for the properties. Their spouses are the ones that are doing the legwork up front. Their spouses are the ones that affiliate with me because I'm like them. So we might do things a little differently than someone who's an actual military veteran who served himself or herself. We are wanting to create community with the families. The service member is a byproduct of that for us. So when you think target market, take it a couple layers deeper than that. Do you want empty nesters? Okay, cool. What type of empty nesters? What type of life, what type of life are they in? Are they newly empty nesters or are they elderly? We don't know, but take it a layer deeper than where you are on the surface, because the more layers deep you can go, the more like you the people feel like they are and the more connected to you they will be. Next thing, every great brand has design consistency. Now, I look at a lot of agents, right? Like, because I just geek out on this stuff. You guys have a wrap on your car that doesn't match the email logo, like the email footer that you have, and that doesn't match your business card, and your business card doesn't match your website, and all of it looks different. You cannot become recognizable or a force in the online world if people see so many different versions of your marketing. So my first challenge to all of you is to think about the things that I just said. Does your business card match your sign? Does your sign match your email signature? Does your email signature match the wrap on your card? Does it match the website that you have? Does it match the background on your social media? Like, think about all of it, because if it doesn't all work cohesively together, you're less recognizable. The point here is to get in that top 3, right? The last thing they have is a strategy on how to reach that market. And I don't mean in their head, I mean a written, specific, step-by-step strategy on how they're going to reach that target audience. Now, we're going to take a little bit of a detour for a second because I think it's important to talk about, and honestly, it's kind of fun. So if you guys are in the situation where you are not rebranding right now or even considering it, this is just going to be interesting to know. If you're the section of people on here who are actually looking to make a brand that's strong and start over even, or rebrand yourself, this is going to be really important for you to listen to. So there's such a thing called the psychology of color. Now, if you want more information, just go Google it. It'd be easy for you to read through. But on a surface level, the psychology of color is what happens inside a human's brain when they see a certain color. There's actual science behind this stuff, you guys. There's no accident that the strongest brands in the world are the colors that they are. That's not an accident. Okay, so I'm going to go through in a minute, but each color that's like a major color, and we're going to talk about it. But for just a second, I want you to think about the colors you choose versus what we talk about over here. But if you want more information on the intricacies of it, go ahead and Google that. But basic level is that there's something that happens in your brain that you can't help, that when you see a certain color, you feel a certain way. Okay, even down to making you thirsty when you see certain colors, which is why a lot of companies who sell soft drinks are the same color, right? Like, there's reasons for this. Red is the color of confidence, ambition. It also creates urgency. It's powerful. That's why you feel intimidated sometimes when you see someone walk in a red suit. It's like, whoa, right? Like, that's strange. Blue, it's calm, it's honest, it says trustworthy. It's also the preferred color for men. So if you have an idea that you want to work with certain folks, and that's not exactly the color that you chose and you picked it because you just like the color and they don't mesh well, you have a little bit of conflict here. Green, youthful, relaxing, wealth, stability, and organic. Think about Whole Foods, think about Starbucks, think about all the Harris Teeter, the grocery stores that you see that color themselves green. Yellow is optimistic, clear, energetic, fun, logical, and attentive. Purple is honestly the blend between the stability of blue, the power of red. It's also a preferred color for luxury. We're going to keep going here, but I want you to see these. Gray, balanced, neutral, timeless, practical, and solid. So when you see gray, if your brain automatically thinks solid or practical or timeless, I don't know how many of you out there are sitting in front of an Apple product, but there's a reason that Apple doesn't color their particular products any kind of way. For the most part, they don't. It's timeless, it's solid, it's practical, right? So I want you to think about your brand. What does it say in terms of the color? Does it match what you think it should? We're going to move on, but I do want you to write this down. Step 2 is defining your audience and being really clear on your message. Now, I want you to think about some things, because in order to be effective with delivering a message, which is all social media is, you guys, It's a platform for us to deliver our message and our marketing and our story. In order to effectively deliver a message on social media that's going to land with someone the way you want it to, you need to know who you're talking to. Kind of like me talking to the military spouse, or me talking to that person who feels like they can't do something. Those are the things that I'm known for because I was clear on who my clientele is. So the first thing you're going to have to do is define who they are. If you don't know it, spend some time thinking about it. If you do, go ahead and write it down and we're going to move on. Make sure that you ask yourself the question, what does that person want? Not what do they need? Don't ask that. That's a different answer and it's a different thing your brain's going to start trying to find. We don't care what they need. We care what they want. What do they want to know? Not what do they want from a real estate agent, you guys. Remember, we're not realtors here. We're just people and we're branding ourselves. And we just so happen to do real estate, right? What do they want from you? What do they want to know when they move to your community? What information are they dying to know and can't find or can't easily find? So you first have to know who they are, then you have to know what your message is going to be. So on the idea of who they are, think about things like how old are they? What are they personally interested in? What's their background? What's their story? Those things kind of go together. What do they like to do in their off time? Where do they work? All of these things will help you drill down a little bit on your audience. And like I said, if you need help with something, let me know. I'm going to take a minute to take a time out just as a caution here, because as you're on social media and you're defining who your perfect person is and your audience and all of that, naturally, people want to engage in what's called hot button issues. Now, there's two things here. There's a hot button issue, which, to be honest, if you're not willing to go all in on, you should probably stay away from. But there's also something that you could use the topics for hot button issues and create what's called a micro niche or micro niche, as people call it. Hot button issues can include things like politics, religion, sexual orientation, human welfare like abortion, gun control, or feminism, right? Or any kind of power struggle type of category of person. So I'm bringing this up because when you're creating an empire on social media, if you're not willing to go all in with only the people who believe exactly the way that you do have to be careful talking about these things or offering opinions on them, because this set of 6 items are very much one way or the other for a lot of folks. Now, I've had a few of you on these classes say, well, it's my Facebook. I should be able to do whatever I want, and you can. I'm not telling you not to. What I am bringing awareness to, though, is that if you choose to engage in dialogue around things that are polarizing for people, you're only going to attract one section of people, and by default, you will repel the other. Now, I'll give you an example on what a micro niche might look like. There's a woman that I coach now that actually came out of my full class that I teach about this. And I'm going to give you some info on the class at the end if you want to join the full class we're going to launch next month. But she came out of it and she was struggling. She's like, you know what? Like, I really, really, really align well with people who have worked with me in the past. She is a gun store owner. She loves firearms. She heavily believes in it. It's part of who she is as a human. And she's like, well, what happens if the people who don't believe in guns just don't want to work with me? And I said, yeah, but what happens if all the people who do choose you? What would your business look like right now? So fast forward to today, about 2 years later, I still coach her, and she is rebranded herself, called On Target Realty. She does home defense seminars and hosts gun classes instead of doing home buyer seminars. And I'll be honest with you, she's having the best year she's ever had in the whole history of being in real estate for almost half a decade. And all she did was say, you know what? This topic I believe so passionately about that I want to attract all the people who think the way that I do. And I'm not concerned if the others don't choose me. So I'm only bringing this up to bring awareness to you guys about how your messaging could affect your business. I'm not telling you which one to choose. It's up to you. What I am also saying is you have to define what you want people to hear from you. Talk about things you believe. Talk about your core values, right? Like things that you hold true for yourself. Avoid old school sales tactics. No one wants to be sold anymore. They can smell it from a mile away. They don't want you to sell them anything. They want you to help them and consult with them and walk them through a process that's a large decision. They don't want you to be sold. Speak clearly about the goals that you have, right? So like, hey, I'm looking to hire someone and you guys helped me so much last time that I really need your help this time, and blah, 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 whatever it is. Always, if you choose to, be upbeat, positive, and stay away from the drama unless you want to create what we call the micro niche before. People don't want to come to Facebook to see that, or Instagram. They can see it in their own world. They can see it on the news. They don't want to get it from you. And what would happen if you were known for being the person that delivered a positive message at the beginning of every single day? More people would start their day with you, okay? Step 3 is we're going to market to the people that we know, right? If you choose to take the full program, we will talk about placing ads and all the things that I know is like the new age way to market on social media. But the other thing that we're going to talk about right now is what is marketing on a basic level. What should you be marketing? Every single day, this is just me personally, and I'm not saying I'm the best at this because I'm not. There are plenty of people out there who do this better than I. Every single day, I follow what I call the rule of thirds, 1/3. So 1/3 of everything I put on Facebook is inspirational or informational. That is me marketing my knowledge, right? So inspirational or informational. 1/3 is going to be real estate. That's me marketing property. The last third of every single day, the last third of what I post is my personal life. Things I'm going through, things I'm thinking about. I have a really cute kid, and I know everyone thinks that my kid's really cute. And he's also crazy and redheaded and almost 4. So he does like off the wall things all the time. And I post about him, or I take pictures of him, or whatever. That's me promoting and marketing myself, like who I am as a human being. So think about what are the ways that you're marketing right now, and what could you change in order for people to feel more comfortable with you? Now, some people will ask, how many times a day should I post? To be honest, you guys, it's totally up to you. If you're not currently posting, I would say start with 1. Ideally, 3 times a day for people who are new. I probably put about 7 to 12 things a day on Facebook, but it's not all on my news feed. Some of it's Facebook stories, some of it's in a group I run, some of it's on our business page, some of it's on my personal page. So ideally, at least 3. But if you're already doing that, see if you can double it, right? In the other aspect of marketing, you have lead ads, you have boosted posts. And I'm not going to get into that for sake of time in the webinar, but we are going to breeze over it since it is a thing. Whenever you go on Facebook and you put something out there on your business page and you click boost post, that's probably one of the largest wastes of money that you could ever do if you're wanting to place ads, like actual ads on Facebook. Here's why. A boosted post does not create a lead. When you are paying on social media for business, for ads, your goal should be to get leads, not just that people can look at it. Yeah, we want eyeballs on our stuff, I get it. But your goal is to create leads. A boosted post is not, by definition from Facebook, used to create a lead. It's used to create awareness. So when you're looking to market and get a return using lead ads from the actual ads manager or command to promote your stuff, where there's a lead capture added to it, is what you should be spending your money on. So we're going to go into this more in depth if you want to take the full class, but for the sake of right now, I just want to make you aware that there's a difference. And then if you want to purposefully create ads that bring a return, start investigating lead ads, because it's a more customized way of marketing on Facebook. And it does also require that you have a credit card or debit card on file, because you obviously have to pay for it. But it gives you a variety of options. So if you want to do a video, the goal of who they show it to are people who are likely to watch videos. If you do a message ad, it's people likely to engage in their messenger inbox. So Facebook has a variety of different ideas on here that when you place an ad through Facebook, you choose what you want the result to be. It shows it to people who would likely do that thing. But when you just boost it, it's not doing that at all. It's literally just putting it out to whomever will look at it for the most part. So be careful of that. The second most common question I get is, what are the best and worst times to post? Again, whenever you can is the first answer I will give you. If you are like beginner at this, it's whenever you can get around to it, honestly, as long as you're posting. If you're intermediate with it, I'd say post a couple times a day and don't worry about the time. Just get the stuff out there. If you're wanting to take this to a different level, first things first, there are services out there that will tell you for your local community what the best and worst posting times are. The thing I'm about to give you is the national best and worst posting time. So make sure that if you're going purposeful here and you're drilling down, that you check that as well. But on a national scale, the best times to post are going to be on weekdays between 1 and 4 p.m. That's going to get the highest click-through rating. Overall, though, out of every day and every time, the peak time throughout the week on average nationally is 3 p.m. The worst times nationally to post are on the weekends before 8 in the morning and after 8 in the evening, for obvious reasons. So think about this. If you're wanting to get purposeful about Facebook, you have to put things in front of people when they're on Facebook, okay? Not just whenever, when they're on Facebook. Now, I also have had a lot of you say, hey, I have a business page, doesn't really do anything for me. I don't get anybody on there. The goal of a business page is not to engage with people. It's to tell the world that you're here. And further than that, it doesn't actually show up on people's news feeds when you post on it, right? They have to actually like you and follow you for them to be able to see the things you're doing. A group, however, if you're not playing in the space of groups, I will tell you, you're not capitalizing on as much as you possibly could with the social media platforms. The idea behind a group is that you're going to be able to actually have a conversation and create community with people. And creating a housing group is actually where I was able to sell those 50 transactions in that first year I was in my marketplace. But some general do's of a business page: put content out, make sure it's consistent, relevant, and valuable. And how do you know if it's valuable? Well, you would have answered the question from the beginning of the class. What do they want from me? What do they need to see? Those are the things that determine value. Do engage with everybody who comments. If someone says nice house, comment with them. The Facebook algorithm tracks engagement. And if you're not commenting and engaging with people, it shows that you're not relevant to them, meaning that it won't show anything that you're putting out there. So make sure that you're engaging with everyone who comments on you. Also, or comments with you. Also, have a consistent content calendar for posting. Some of you might use some tools that you have. We use Sprout Social, and we also use Command. Some of you might use something else. Buffer is a good option if you don't want to spend very much money. But have either a content calendar printed on your desk, like where I'm sitting right now. Her desk has a calendar on it, a big desk calendar. I might just write on this what I'm posting. If you want it to post for you, you can actually pay for a service or use Command to make those posts. Also, post multiple times a day. Some things not to do: don't spam people with listings all day long. They don't care, you guys. It's 2021. No one, I don't want to offend you, people are not concerned with the fact that you're listing homes anymore. They can find that stuff on their own. Yeah, is it nice to know that you listed something? Sure. But overall, if on average, only 6% of people per year move, like of everyone you know, this year only 6% of them are moving. If all you're posting is listings, 94% of people don't care because they're not moving. So how do you get to the 94% when all you're posting is what the 6% cares about? So don't just post listings all day long. Don't be negative or isolate people unless you're doing a niche market. That's obviously, we've talked about that. Last thing, I learned the hard way: don't brag on yourself and all your accomplishments. Share your failures too. People want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. No one trusts someone who never fails. No one feels that they connect with someone who is quote unquote perfect, because that's not them. Show people that you're human and that you fail and things are weird and hard and you're struggling. And I know that that's kind of not what we're taught to do. Like, hey, keep your stuff inside, keep it together. It doesn't allow people to connect with you if they can't understand where you're coming from, okay? There is a fine line though. The other reason not to brag on yourself all the time is because your people will feel like you're too busy for them. And this is where I failed miserably at the beginning. every single time I would sell something, which when you're selling what I was, it was a lot, I would post it. I sold it. I listed it. It went under contract, blah, blah, blah. And I had numerous people. One person here particularly said, stop doing that so much. People are going to think you're too busy for them. And she was right. They did. I had a few people that same year that I love. I know them. They're friends of mine. They're family. Like, they bought with somebody else because they thought I was too busy for their little $150,000 home, right? People will do that to you too, so be careful. This is a quick thing all about groups. I'm just going to breeze through it real quick. If you guys don't have a Facebook housing group or a local community group, you should probably think about doing it. Groups are a place where people can actually have conversation and connect, and you can become the local authority. So today, I personally run a housing group for our local area with about 6,700 people in it. That's not comprised of real estate agents, mortgage people, title companies, or attorneys. I don't let them in. That's truly all community members who are coming to and from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and they're all talking about housing. Now, you don't have to do a housing group. You can do lifestyle groups, you can do networking groups, social groups, interest groups, alumni associations, clubs, whatever you want. The point of creating the group, first of all, is not, the goal here is first not to sell real estate to them. It's to sell yourself to them, for them to understand that you're there for them before you're there for yourself. So what does that look like in the housing group? Well, every single week I go in and I talk about the market for 15 minutes. I say, hey, look, if you're a buyer and you really, really want a house right now and you don't have this much money, I'm going to be honest, you probably should consider renting for a year. Let's talk about it first. But here, like, that's the kind of conversation I'm having. I'm not going in there and saying, well, on average, our price is this and that, and all of that's great. I'm not taking anything away from that. But inside of the group I've created, I'm becoming a human being to them that's trying to help them. And you would do the same. So some ideas are on the screen, obviously, but based on whatever type of group you create, that's the content you'll put in there. And your first goal here should be to give before you ask. Give before you ask. Now, if you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat box. I am going to do a quick blurb about the class if you'd like to join. I do run and coach a 50 Facebook sales in 50 weeks class through MAPS. You would actually go to mapscoaching.com/group, and you will find the group coaching program. It's named 50 Facebook sales in 50 weeks. This is an 8-week program. So it's one call for an hour every single week for 8 weeks. The calls are recorded, so if you miss them, you can come back to it later. You have 2 months after the class is over to catch up, okay? On average, every single week, we're building on whatever we had the week before. So it can work for anyone of any level of Facebook knowledge. I would say that you do need to come to the course if you don't have it already with a business page established, because we do talk about placing ads and all the intricacies of that, and we will ask you to place some. But it basically is going to be a step-by-step guide to creating a massive business online. And my hope for the class is to give you the foundational knowledge about how to do that. Like I said, every week we have a particular course. There's also a workbook that goes along with that that will allow you to work your way through on your own time if you want, on top of the live webinar. Additional perks, every single person who joins the class, there's a Facebook group for this course. So every person who joins it is going to go into that group, and there's a lot of masterminds that happen in there, a lot of questions and answers, a lot of examples that are posted, and you will forever remain in that Facebook group if you choose to. I will not remove you just because your class is over. People who took this course 2.5 years ago are already still in there. In addition to that, sometimes I do have Facebook Lives on Fridays or on Mondays of people I know who are doing extremely well on social media and how they're doing it. So there are a couple additional things that go on outside of just the class. The full program starts May 4th, which is a Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern time. So I don't know your time zone, but you'd have to figure that out. And the price of the class is $198 one time. It's not every month or whatever, it's one time, and $198 for the 8-week course. So if you're interested, the link is right there, mapscoaching.com/group. If you just have questions before you sign up, give me a message through Facebook, and I'd be happy to help you guys. All right, everyone. I hope everybody has a powerful day. If you have anything, let me know. I don't see any questions in the chat box for me, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Have a great day. Bye.